Do you want to know what a nutrition coach actually eats? I'm not talking about the Instagram version or the perfectly curated meals on Pinterest. I'm talking, how does a nutrition coach who's also managing a business, her 2 kids, her household, eat on a regular day? I'm going to show you exactly what I eat in a typical day. Now, what I need you to know though is that any of these videos that you see, it doesn't matter if you eat and train exactly like me, you're not going to look like me. Because the truth is, your body is unique, it's beautiful in its own right, and it deserves to be fueled and moved in the way that works for you. What I want to show in this video is that you can eat healthy. You can get a lean, toned look and feel energized by eating in a way that not only nourishes your body, but is actually really simple. By the end of this video, you'll see that eating for fat loss doesn't mean suffering. It actually just means simplifying your routine. There's so much pressure out there to eat perfectly, to meal prep for hours, to have aesthetic lunch boxes, but that's not real life. Real life, especially as a mom, it happens in the chaos. It happens while trying to feed kids on the go. And most nutrition advice completely ignores that reality. Hi, I'm Kylene Heikens, and I've been a trainer and a nutrition coach for over 14 years. I've helped hundreds of moms lose weight, and I practice what I preach. No separate diet meals. I don't cook those. I don't track everything in a macro tracking app or a calorie tracking app. And there's sure as heck no food guilt allowed here. I'm going to walk you through my entire day of eating in this video. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, and I'll show you exactly what I prioritize and how I keep it simple, and how I enjoy food without derailing my results. Meal number 1 is breakfast. Breakfast is a non-negotiable foundation. Every single day starts with protein. This is the habit that changed everything for me. I eat breakfast within an hour or 2 of waking up, and my protein is always the star of that event. My go-to is typically 2 scrambled eggs with a little bit of meat from the night before, whether that be steak, ground turkey, or ground deer. My husband is a hunter. We eat lots of deer, moose, all that stuff. And he actually just told me he's going to go bear hunting, so that's going to be interesting. Anyways, I digress. It's usually 2 eggs, some meat, and then I like adding some type of vegetable to it or fruit to it to add that fiber content. My go-to is typically some avocado, but maybe that is a little bit of strawberries. Maybe that's a little banana and peanut butter. It just depends. Typically, that's my go-to, but maybe Greek yogurt is more your style. And you have Greek yogurt with a bunch of seeds and nuts and berries in it. But the whole thing literally takes 7 minutes. On busier mornings, maybe it's a protein shake and an apple on the side or something like that. But it's always protein in the morning. And here's why this matters so much. Before I prioritized protein in the morning, I was crashing by 10 a.m. Like I needed another snack. I just wasn't filling my body with what it needed to be that energized mom that I wanted to be. And I would crash in the afternoon. I even tried fasting sometimes, and I was like, okay, well, I'll skip breakfast. That's an easy way to save calories. And I think a lot of moms get caught in this trap too. But that for sure led to me crashing by 2 p.m. And honestly, I started raiding a pantry afterwards as well because my blood sugar was in this crazy roller coaster. So instead, I just switched it to 25 to 30 grams of protein in the morning, and I had stable energy, no crashes, no desperate snacking throughout the day. It's the single most important habit that I teach my clients too, because it sets them up for the entire day. Think of breakfast as kind of like you're programming your GPS for the day. When you start your day with protein, you're setting the route towards stable energy and fat burning all day long. When you start with sugar or nothing at all, you're programming that route now to go after crashes and cravings and honestly detours. So if you do nothing else from this video, just change your breakfast to 25 to 30 grams of protein in the morning. And a great way I love to do that is just a fistful of protein in the morning. But watch, 2 eggs actually only yields 14 grams of protein. So you'll need to couple that with some meat from the night before. I just always make sure I cook extra. Or maybe you do like a 1/4 cup of egg whites as well. That always helps. Now, let me show you what happens between breakfast and lunch. Mid-morning is nothing at all, because what I've done is I've front-loaded my day with enough protein that can last me, 4, 5, 6 hours until lunch. And here's something most people don't realize. Constant snacking is often a sign that your meals aren't balanced. So when I eat protein-rich breakfast, I'm generally not hungry until lunch. My blood sugar is stable, my energy is steady, and I'm focused and productive for the later half of the morning. I don't think about food because my body just doesn't need it. And on the rare occasion that I do get hungry mid-morning, maybe I'll have a handful of nuts or I'll grab an apple or something like that. Something with protein or fat to tide me over. But most days it's nothing. And that comes from front loading my day with as much protein as possible. And here's what I want you to notice. My clients who struggle with constant snacking are always under eating protein at meals. When we fix that, the need to graze disappears. They're shocked at how much longer they can go without thinking about food. That food noise goes away. It's not about willpower. It's about biology and feeding your body properly so it stops screaming at you. Snacking in the morning is like putting $5 of gas in your car every 20 minutes. It keeps you moving, but barely. A proper protein breakfast is like filling the tank. Let's fill it early in the morning so you're not constantly stopping. Next up, just pay attention to your snacking patterns. If you're reaching for food every couple hours, that's a signal that your meals need more protein. They need to be more balanced. So fix the meals first and then see if you even need the snacks. All right, now let's talk about lunch. Lunch is where most moms completely fall apart. But I like doing a lunch that's simple, that's protein forward, and no cooking is required. So lunch is where I keep things as simple as possible. No elaborate recipes. I just rinse and repeat the same things over and over again. Usually my lunch is leftovers from the night before. So last night's dinner, it's protein and produce forward, or something I can throw together in 5 minutes. A typical lunch that I really like to have is some leftover chicken. I usually have a roast chicken in the fridge. So I'll do leftover chicken with a salad that I have some homemade dressing already pre-made. So I don't meal prep in the sense of like all these cute little containers all the time. I meal prep in the sense of, do I have protein on the ready? Do I have produce that I can grab on the ready? And do I have a yummy dressing or a yummy sauce that I can make a bowl out of that's protein and produce heavy, but I got this like really yummy dressing that like pulls it all together. Another great way I like doing that is having a salad with lots of vegetables. Maybe there's even quinoa in it, some nuts and seeds, some crunch, maybe some sweet potato that I've roasted prior. So it has like some actual sustenance to it. It's not just like sad lettuce, tomatoes, and cucumber and a dressing. I really make sure it's a filling type of salad. And then I'll have a can of tuna on the side with a few crackers. So the can of tuna is going to yield that protein that I need to keep me full until dinner. So that's just kind of some ideas, but the formula is always the same. It's always protein and produce. That's it. I'm not making some gourmet elaborate meal. I'm not spending 30 minutes prepping it. I'm just making sure that those 2 boxes are checked. Here's a little bonus tip. When I'm making my lunch, I will either cut carrots, cut broccoli, and put them in water for dinner that night. Now, I know this isn't as easy for moms who are working out of the home. I work in the home, so it allows me to do this. But what you could do if you work outside of the home is prep a couple veggies for dinner that night. I'll literally never forget the time that I was sitting in with my hairdresser, and they were like, oh, well, how do you keep your kids eating healthy meals and all this? Like, you work all day and then you go home and in sports and all this. And she's like, oh, we don't cook veggies. It's too much to cut up. And I was like, wait, but there's so much goodness in veggies, like so many vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and fiber and all these amazing, amazing things that veggies give to our life. So instead of using that sad excuse of not cooking vegetables, just make use of the time that you're already in the kitchen. So if you're frying up an egg, doing some toast for the kids at breakfast, and you have the cutting board out, well, chop up some veggies, put it in a pot, leave it on the stove all day long. And then when you get home, they're ready to go. I do that at lunch, but if you're working mom, do it in the morning. I used to overcomplicate all these things, but it's just how can I use the pockets of time that I have to benefit me the most for the entire day. Now, afternoon is where things used to fall apart for me. An afternoon is strategic fuel if needed. I find it's not needed anymore because I'm front loading my day with as much protein and produce as I can. So my body isn't playing catch up in the afternoon. If I'm hungry between lunch and dinner, I do eat. I don't want to be this ravenous mom who picks her kids up from school and can't think clearly because I'm so hungry. So an afternoon snack is so strategic in that it allows me to stay out of the danger zone. Now, what do I mean by danger zone? Well, if I eat lunch at noon and I'm coming home and prepping dinner for 5:30, I like to have my dinners early, and I'm really, really hungry, well, then all of a sudden I'm grazing while I'm cooking meals. My kids are having snacks and no one's really hungry for dinner. Or worse, I'm ignoring that hunger signal in the afternoon and I'm eating everything in sight for dinner. All of a sudden I'm making like this big pasta dinner because I'm not really thinking clearly about my protein and my produce goals. I'm front loading with things that are just going to satiate me very, very quickly. But if I have that afternoon snack that's more protein focused, well, now I'm able to have a more level head while I'm making dinner. I'm able to be a bit more calm and not have to eat everything because I haven't hit in that primal hunger zone. And really, where I used to go bad with this is that I just ignored my hunger signals. Or worse, I didn't eat earlier on in the day and I was always reaching for something that was carb heavy because I was crashing. Now, when I'm genuinely hungry in the afternoon, I just reach for something that's protein forward. My favorite is an apple and peanut butter, or maybe it's a protein shake and a handful of almonds. The goal is just to bridge that gap from dinner without spiking and crashing or overeating at dinner. And here's what I've learned. The afternoon snack is optional. It's not mandatory. Some days I need it. Some days I don't. The key is to listen to my body instead of eating on autopilot, or worse, eating based on a calorie tracking app. When I eat because I'm actually hungry and I make better choices because of it. When I eat because the clock says 3, I can reach for junk food. I don't need to necessarily eat if my body is not asking for it. The real magic that I see with moms and me is at dinner time. So this is where family life and fat loss can actually come together. You're not cooking separate diet meals. But quick pause, if you're liking this and you're finding this really helpful and want more real life nutrition advice for moms, hit subscribe. I post like this every week, how to lose weight without diets or burnout. Okay, let's go to dinner. Dinner should always just be one meal for the family. There are so many other reasons that I feel like women should not be eating separate diet meals. For one, it's a total waste of time. And two, our kids learn through modeling. So the more we model a healthy lifestyle, they are going to want it too. I don't care if they're in a beige food phase. What I like to do is I never cook separate meals. My family eats what I eat. I just build my plate a little bit more strategically if I'm wanting fat loss or wanting to stay lean. And then in terms of the kids and keeping them happy, I just make sure I offer at least one item that I know they'll eat. So my little girl is on a pea craze, like she loves peas. My other one is in a very beige phase. She's loving her cheese. So I'll just make sure that whatever I cook, those are on the table. Now, this is where most diet plans fail moms, though. They expect you to make one meal for your family, and then you get a different diet meal because that's what the PDF meal plan says. But that's insane. Who has time for that? And like I said before, it's sending the wrong signal to your kids that you're not eating what they're eating. Like, we're a family, so let's eat together. So a simple example is last night we had pasta with pesto. My kids love, they call them circle noodles or tortellini with pesto. We make that. But what I do is instead of my whole plate being pasta, like my kids, they're definitely in a growth phase, so they need more of those carbohydrates. I make half my plate some type of produce. So maybe that's a salad, maybe that's steamed broccoli. And then my other portion of my plate can be protein, and then the other portion is going to be pasta. So pasta is not the star of the show on my plate, but it might be for my kids. It's the same meal, it's the same table, but we're not separating it. We're just plating our plates differently. Here's how this works in real life. So let's say some of our regular dinners are tacos, where I load up on protein and veggies and go easy on the tortilla. So I might have more of a taco salad as opposed to a bunch of tacos. So I would put lettuce. I like putting sweet potato with my tacos, onions, pickled onions, tomatoes, cheese, the meat. I add black beans for extra fiber. So that's on my plate. But my kids' tacos, well, they'll probably have tortilla, the sour cream, the cheese, and the meat. That's fine. But we're eating the same meal. We're just plating it up differently. Maybe if we're having burgers, I might have a burger bowl where I do the sweet potato, and all the veggies mixed in, and then I put the sauces on it, where my kids might have just cheese, the burger, and a bun. Or maybe I go half a bun, or maybe I go lettuce wrapped. We're not eating different food. We're just eating different portions. We're adjusting the portions for it. Think of family dinners as like a buffet. Everyone has access to the same food. You just choose your portions based on your goals. Now, the kids might load up more on pasta or the carbohydrates, but you load more up on protein and the vegetables. The same buffet, but it's a different plate, and no one feels deprived, your kids included. So tonight at dinner, don't make anything special for yourself. Just look at what you're serving. I mean, you are in charge. And ask, how can I make this more protein and produce forward? Add a side salad, double the vegetable portion. I always love serving 2 veggies with my meal. So it's not like it's starch, protein, 1 veggie. I always have starch, protein, 2 veggies, because then that allows me to fill out half my plates with those veggies without getting bored. So it's really about the proportion. It's not about cooking separate diet meals. What about all the fun stuff like pizza nights or the wines or the treats? Having that stuff, I eat ice cream with my kids. I have wine or a gin and soda on the weekends, and I enjoy pizza night Fridays, and I don't feel guilty about any of it. Here's my philosophy, is life is meant to be enjoyed. If I can't have pizza with my family on a Friday night, what's the point? Life is way too short to not enjoy. The key to this, though, is that this isn't my baseline. When my baseline is solid in protein and produce and things that actually support my goals, at most meetings, I'm consistent with my strength training, I have good sleep, and I've managed my stress, there's room for the fun stuff. I don't earn treats. I don't punish myself after them, but I do just enjoy and move on. Pizza Friday doesn't become pizza Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. It's one meal, and then I'm back to my baseline. And here's what diet culture gets completely wrong, okay? The moms I work with who struggle the most are the ones who see food as black and white, on a plan or off a plan, good or bad. That leads to restriction, followed by binging, followed by guilt. And the moms who succeed see food on a spectrum. Most meals are nourishing. Some meals are just fun, but both have their place. Think of your eating like a bank account, okay? Your protein and produce meals are your deposits. Your treats are the withdrawals. As long as you're making more deposits than withdrawals, your account will stay healthy. The occasional splurge doesn't bankrupt you, but constant withdrawals without deposits eventually will. Give yourself permission to enjoy the food. Plan your treats intentionally instead of falling into them accidentally. When you know Pizza Friday is coming, you're not depriving yourself all week. You're just making deposits so the withdrawal doesn't hurt as much. Now, let me show you what the end of the day looks like. I close the kitchen without all the cravings. I used to be a nighttime snacker. I mean, it was a way that my husband and I got to connect after the kids went to sleep, and after being everything for everyone all the time, it was like a way that my nervous system was able to be regulated. But now I rarely think about food after dinner. Because here's why. Nighttime used to be my weakness, okay? The kids will go to bed. I finally find myself standing in the pantry looking for some way to kind of decompress. But what I was feeling wasn't just a willpower problem. It was a blood sugar problem. I was under eating during the day, and by night my body was screaming for fuel. So once I handled the physiology of it and started front loading my day with protein and produce and ate to actually feel full, then I wasn't looking for those extra calories at night. Now, if you find that yours is more of like an emotional feel afterwards, try a hot cup of tea or try a hot bath. Try something that feels nourishing to you too, but doesn't involve food. Because I find over and over again that when we late night binge, that guilt and shame afterwards is far worse than the actual relief that we got from that food. So really try to make sure that from a physiological sense, you are supporting your body in a nourishing way throughout the day by eating enough food. And then from an emotional standpoint, you can just lean on different tactics. Maybe you go for a walk after dinner, or you do a light stretch, light yoga. But sometimes maybe you do want a little snack. And what I like to go for is just a small piece of dark chocolate. It's not out of control snacking though, because that will never honor your true goals of building that lean, light toned look. Here's what I've come to notice is that every client that I've worked with who struggles with late night eating has the same pattern. They undereat during the day, they skip breakfast or have something tiny Lunch is an afterthought, and then by evening, their body is in survival mode. Once we fix a day, the physiological cue, they're not white knuckling through the evening anymore. It's about arriving at the evening already satisfied. Give that a try and let me know what you think, especially if your night is the problem. Look at your daytime eating and see, are you getting enough protein at breakfast? Are you actually eating lunch? Not like a sad little salad, like a full-on meal. The solution for nighttime cravings is usually always found before 3 p.m. But let me tie this all together and show you the big picture, because what I've come to know is that it's patterns over perfection. It's not about any single meal. It's about the pattern across the days and the weeks. Remember, I talked about the foundation, those deposits that you're making into it. So if you zoom in on any one day, you might see pizza or ice cream or a lunch that was just cheese and crackers because the day was chaos. That's fine. What matters most is the pattern. Most days, are you hitting your protein with every meal? Most days I am. Most days I get vegetables on my plate. Most days I move my body. Most days I sleep well. The occasional off day doesn't derail anything because the pattern isn't solid. I don't aim for perfect days. I aim for a perfect pattern. This is what I wish someone had told me years ago. The clients who transform are never the ones who eat perfectly 100% of the time. They're the ones who eat consistently. They have a bad meal, but they don't spiral. They stop seeing individual meals as a pass or fail and start seeing the big picture. Those patterns, look for the patterns. One bad meal in a good week is like one cloudy day in a sunny month. It doesn't change the season. But one good meal in a bad week is like one sunny day in a stormy month. It doesn't fix the pattern. Focus on the pattern, not the individual days. So stop judging yourself by one meal. Look at your week as a whole. If 80% of your meals are protein and produce forward, you're winning. Another 20% is just life, and enjoy it. So here's what I want you to take away from this, if you take away anything at all. Eating for fat loss doesn't require perfection. It doesn't require separate diet meals for you and your family, and it doesn't require hours of meal prep or tracking every bite. It requires a simple foundation, and that is protein and produce at most meals. It requires permission to enjoy food with your family and get out there and live your life. It does require patience, trusting the pattern even when individual days feel messy. This is how I eat. This is how my clients eat. And this is how weight loss becomes something you can actually sustain forever. No food scales, no tracking apps, no guilt. Now, if you have questions about how all this works, I made a video answering the 8 common questions most moms ask about weight loss. Watch it next and you'll get clear answers on everything from carbs to cardio to how long results actually take. The link is on the screen. I'll see you there.